Hello and welcome again. Now we are going to talk about dynamic and static typing. Python is by default dynamic typing. What does dynamic typing means? That you don't have to specify whether this variable is integer or this variable is string type. When you put the value into the variable, the Python automatically figure out that what type of data is coming to this variable. So it will assign the type automatically. So so for example, here we have like num is equal to 5. Num is equal to 5. So what is happening is in this num, in this variable, the value is 5. So computer understood, the Python understood automatically that this is an integer type. So this is an integer type variable. Now, when we store the value num is equal to 7, like a string, now Python automatically figure out, okay, that this is a string type variable. So you don't need to specifically tell or declare the type of the variable. In other languages, we have to specify tell whether it's integer or string or boolean or what type. So you have to specify the type of type for the variable. But in Python, since it is a dynamic typing, it automatically figure out. So you don't have to specify. You can change the type of variable anytime. You see here, we have here it is integer, but when we when we try to save or assign the value of string, it becomes a string variable. So this is, you can say this is flexible, but you have to be careful. Uh, it may cause some errors, runtime errors, because you might be thinking that, oh, this is a number, but actually the value is stored, which is string, and you're trying to multiply or you're trying to add some values, then you may end up in error messages. So yeah, and secondly, since we are not compiling, so compilation process is not there, so it does not check the types of the data, what types of the data you are storing. So this is dynamic typing, huh? Now we'll talk about static typing. As I mentioned before, in other languages like Java, C, or C++, these are all static typing. Yani you have to specify the type of the variable. So if you see here, we are saying that, oh, integer age is equal to 25. So we are specifying that this age variable is integer, and we are expecting integer values will be saved into this variable. So in age, we cannot specify, we cannot assign the string variable. We cannot say this is string. No, this is not possible. As in the compilation time, you will get the error message. Okay, so in compilation time, you'll get the error message. We have a string variable, so this is string type, and the variable name is name. So now we are expecting string value into the name. So if you see that, so this is Java example. Similar is the C or C++, same thing. So you can say that, okay, these are the static types of data. So when you compile the program, that is the time when these types are fixed and checked before running the program. Now in Python, you can say that, okay, you can also create static typing, but you have to create something like that. So you have to say a colon, okay, and then you set this type of the variable, which is equal to 3. So now we are making sure that this variable a will get the integer value. Okay, we'll get the integer value. So this is how you can specify that a is an integer variable. Okay, and now if you want to see that, okay, what kind of data type we are storing in this one, you say type A. Okay, when you say type of A, it specifies, hey, this is the integer class. So this is the integer type. Um, but you can, Python does not stop you that you can only store a integer into this A variable. Immediately you can say, okay, I just want to say, so you are saving string, you are assigning string to the variable A. Now it is no more integer variable. It is a string variable. Okay. So you can change the type anytime for the variable. So, but this type, we are not using static typing like this. We are not telling specifically that, oh, this variable is integer or this variable is string in Python. Python automatically decide. Python automatically decide the variable type. If you see here, now we are saying, okay, we have a variable name, okay, is a type string, and we are trying to store the string into this variable. And then you can print the name and then print. So we are checking what type of variable is this name. Oh, it says it's a class string, so it's a string variable type. So yeah. Okay, if you see here, name is a string type, but we can still reassign to another type. We are saying name is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and I say, okay, what is the variable type name? It says, hey, this is integer. So this is not strict static typing. In Python, is not a strict typing language, but in other language, oh, if you define a variable as integer, then you can only assign integer value. Whereas in Python, this is not the case. So let's try this example. So for example, I have a colon, I can say integer is equal to 3, and I say print a. I can also check the type of the a variable. So I can say type, print the type of a. So this is my 6py, so I can just run the 6py program. It says, okay, so I'm printing a, which is 3, and then I say the type of a variable is integer. There you go. Similarly, if you can say we have a name and the type is str, which is string, and then I say, okay, I'm trying to store a string, I can use and then I say name, and then type of the name variable is, so it should be string, by the way. Okay, the value is Tariq, and then the type of the name variable is string. And you can say name is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then say print name, and then say print the type of the name. Now it will say this is an integer, and the type is, so this is integer type. So here it will be string type, and here the same variable name will be the integer type. So let me clear the screen and run it again. There you go. So first it was a Tariq value, and then it was a string. Now second time it was integer, and then it says this is integer variable. So this is what we are talking about, static and dynamic typing. We do have a static variable, okay? But these static variables are related to the classes. These are related to the classes and memory usage, and using the memory, okay? Now, static variables are variables that belongs to a class. Okay, the static variable belongs to a class. And they do not belongs to any object. Okay. Basically, when we will learn the classes in our future lectures, there it will be more clear to you guys. But we will discuss a little bit in this section as well. But mainly, most probably in the next few chapters, when we will start the classes in Python, that is the time that you will learn the static variable or the class variable. So these variables, the static variables, are defined inside a class, but outside any method. Okay, so they are inside the class, but outside any method. And these static variable, they shared across all objects. So for example, I have these different variables. Basically, these are objects. Huh? When I say variable, means different objects. So the static variable is somewhere on the top, and all the objects share the same value. We'll talk about that. Memory is allocated once. Okay, yeah, this is for this variable, for this class variable, the memory is allocated here, and it can be shared with all objects. All other variables can use this common area. So our static variable will be living here in this part, and non-static variable, they will be living here in each object. And this is a static variable used for memory efficiency. If you're counting something, that is a good place to use the static variable. Okay, now in Python, what is happening is do have static typing, or you can say static variable, but they're not as strict as in other languages. Okay, so but we can have some kind of similar behavior. Okay, um, so for example, um, for we have a class. Okay, class is student, and then we have a count. So this count is outside the method. You see, this is the method. This is my method. So this method is so this variable is outside the method. So this is what we call class variable or static variable, like that. Now we do have some methods like this is the method, initial method. We have a variable here. Okay, this variable is not a class variable. This is or you can say this is not a static variable. This is um, instance variable, or you can say local variable, or you can say object variable, instance variable. So this is our instance variable. And this is my class variable. Okay. So now, so for example, in Python, if I just go up there, I can say I have a class student. Okay. In this class, I can say, okay, count is equal to 0. So this is my variable that is outside the method. So we can say that this is a class variable, or this is my static variable. Um, then I have a method double underscore init double underscore, and then I can say I have a self, and then I can have a name. Now we'll talk about this method in the future, okay? In after 2-3 lectures, or 2-3 chapters, we will get this method. And here I have uh, self.name. This is my instance variable. I can save like that. And I'm using my class variable. So the class variable need to be have with the class name. Huh? So I can say student.count is equal to 1. So whatever is the value, when I create the object, it will add the value 1 to the counter. So this is good for keeping a record of how many objects I created. So if I say print student.count, at this point in time, I should be able to print 1. Sorry, I should be able to print 0. Why? Because at the point I did not create any object. Now, if I create an object, s1 is equal to student, and I have to pass on this for this one. So this is a string, and I can say this is Ali. Okay, and then S2 is equal to student, and then I can say Sarah. So we have two students here. Now I created two objects. Every time I create every time I create object, it will go to this method. Okay, and then this value will be added, and this is my class variable. It will add one to the counter of the class variable, and then it will create the object. So this Ali will go to this name. So, and then I can say I would like to print count, and this time it will print 2 because I went to this place 2 times. So it will. Now this is my class. This is my, let me, so when I create this, when I write this statement, actually this will create an object of S1. That is a student type object. Now this student class has a variable that is count. So that is a common area for the student class, and the count will be available here. So this count value is shared with this one. Okay. So then I created S2. So S2 is also sharing the common area is available for this. Now, whatever is not common, which is like name, so name will be here and the name will be here. Now imagine there are two variables or two objects, S1 and S2. The name here is Ali and the name here is Sarah. Okay, so when you create the student object for Ali, it went to the student, okay, and it went come here for the initialization. It initialized the name Ali to this variable, and then counter is 1. But when you create the second one, it goes back again here. It created the second object and name it Sarah to the second object, and count is 1. So it becomes 2. Okay. So when you say student, to access this variable, you use the class name. So you say, okay, student dot count. So it will print 2. And when you say S1 dot name, so it will print S1 dot name, it will print Ali. And when you say S2 dot name, it will print Sarah. So at the moment we are just printing the count, okay? So let's see here. I can save this program, make it clear, and I run the program. And now, okay, something went wrong. Okay, plus is equal to, there is no space here. I can clear the screen and I can run it again. And you see, the first time there was no object was created, so it is 0. And when we created two objects, so it is 2 now. And since it is in the common area, that is why I'm using student.count and it printed 2. Okay, let's see after the 2, if I say, hey, can you display me print s1.name? Okay, and then let's see what happens. Oh, I got 0 to, and then Ali. Ali is printed. And if you say print s2 dot Ali, s2 dot name, so it will print. Then it will print 0 to Ali and Sarah. So this is like a static variable, yani class variable, which you can access with the help of class name. These are instance variable, especially the name is the instance variable. So you can access with the help of instance variable, which is S1 or S2. Let me try. Maybe we are able to access in some language, we are able to access count variable with the help of instance variable as well. Some languages support. Let's see that. So if we get 2 after Sarah, then we will see that, okay, we can also access with the help of with the help of with the help of object name as well. There you go. So this S2, S1 is also getting the same count from the common area. And if I say, okay, can I use the S2 as well? So S2 should also be accessing. There you go. So in other words, what we can say, we can access the class variable with the help of, we can access the class variable with the help of a class name and with the help of object name as well. Okay, let's try. Can I access this name with the help of class name, student.name? It will never be possible because we are having many objects. The computer, which object you want to print? You want to go for the name for Ali or for Sarah or for some other name. So this is not possible. But since the class variable is in the common area, so all the objects can also access the uh, the shared memory, the variable in the shared memory. So if you see here, now if I try student dot, let me delete the, if I say student dot name, oh, here you will get the error message because computer will be confused and it is not possible. So student has no attribute name, huh? Because student class name can only access this part. So I don't have to say student dot name, so I have to say S1. Then it should be okay. So this was the static variable, okay, in Python. So basically, static variables, this is the same thing, static variable, basically related to the classes and memory use. Huh? So static variables are variables that belongs to the class, not to any object of the class. So our objects are S1 and S2. Huh? S1 is one object and S2 is an object. So the class variable does not belongs to any object. It belongs to a common area and belongs to a class, that is student. So count is available. Count is available here. Is defined inside the class. It defines inside the class. This is defined inside the class, but outside the method. So this is outside the method. Huh? This is outside the method. The count variable is outside the method. And shared across all objects. So yeah, S1 can also access and S2 can also access. So it is shared among all objects. Memory is allocated once. So this memory is allocated only once when the class is loaded. There you go. This is the example of Java. We have a class student. Here we have to specify static word, static integer count. Okay. And we didn't specify static. So this is my instance variable. Huh? Instance variable. Instance variable. And this is my static variable. So instance variable, just like name. Huh? This name is my instance variable that is within the object. In Java, although it is outside the object, but because we did not write static, so it automatically becomes the instance. But in Python, the instance variable has to be in the method. So this is the small difference that you have to keep in mind. And you don't need to worry about the Java because we are not going to learn Java. We are not going to ask any question in the exam from the Java. So this is just for your information. This is how the static variable, how it is available in other languages, and static variable is available in Python. That's it for now. I hope to see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.